Mailbag preview show, episode 269 today. We've got Benny Said off a big performance last week on the preview show. Benny, Dance to Dubai, and what was your other one? Oh, obviously, Cause for Concern, the,
Yeah,
the,
the
the
good, the
pin-up
good
horse
horse,
for the
Jono.
show.
Yeah, I've got to get a frame for him up here at the back somewhere. Yeah, it was good to pull a couple off, mate. Dance to Dubai was a nice one. I think you should be shorting that race at the Valley in a few weeks, Jack.
Yeah, yeah. The train's probably left the station, unfortunately for us punters. But there will be a good thing next Saturday at Moonee Valley. So just make sure you tune in next week.
And Rob Scurry got you back from holiday. How was the big trip?
Yeah, great. 3 weeks, 2 in Europe. Two in the UK. Don't go to London.
Oh God, he's turned the top lip up there. Let's have just a real quick out wide sort of travel report, would you please, for England?
Expensive, very expensive. London, the food, the accommodation. We paid like nearly $500, $600 for a room. You couldn't shut the bathroom door. The floor was that warped. It was grim, condemned. But yeah, it's just a shithole. Then a week in Italy, we did 3 cities in 7 days with the kids. It was hot, but it was great. Can't tip Rome hard enough. Venice is quaint. And back at Warwick Farm yesterday, and I managed to
obviously not for me because I'm well educated, but just for Benny and Jono, can you just explain and everyone else watching what quaint means?
Like cutesy kind of kit. Like it's the one with the canals down.
I know the city. I've been there, but I'm just not sure what that word meant.
Okay, you got the vibe? Quaint. It just means you're kind of cute and desirable.
Do you rip into the local food when you're there?
Yeah, man, of course. Italian. How can you not? It's outstanding. I've got to lay off the
sardines on bread.
I got some white anchovies. I looked at them at the local delicatessen. They want 60 a kilo. Everyone hates them in the house, so I'd avoided them for 5 years thinking about them. And then over there, they were down to like sort of 30. So I got half a pot of them and just sort of popped them in one by one. And I can't do any more prosciutto, pizza, pasta for a good few weeks. But the prosciutto and the salami, I've got to lay off that stuff.
Did you pack on a few kgs?
1 kilo up to 94.
94.
Yeah,
he is a giant. If you're playing at home, he is 50, parading on 24, physically looking wise, and just a lean but powerful, tall animal.
I don't know about powerful, but
you're a stayer. You're a progressive stayer if you're parading.
Yeah, I'll be 2,000 plus. I really should be 78, Jack, and I'm just trying to work that out next little while and sort it out.
And Jack, you going well? Fair bit of golf on the agenda, I've heard.
Obviously working my ass off, Jono, as I always do, but I have found a bit of time to play a bit of golf off 7 now. So on my way down. Played PK on Monday. One of the greatest courses I've ever seen. Unbelievable. No birdies though. Peninsula Kingswood.
Yeah, good to make that clear because not everyone
St. Michael's over here. Where do we want to start, boys? We've got 2 runners we're going to talk about that are potentially running in Adelaide, but they might not run, but we're going to preview them anyway. And we're going to look at a race in Sydney, and then we're going to just rip and tear through Caulfield. John, where are we starting?
Yeah, well, we might as well just touch on our 3 runners over the next 2 days. And then we'll go to Morphettville straight off the back of that. So, because Wolf Point runs tomorrow on debut in our colours. It's actually on his career debut as well. But at Lismore, race 4, he's come up $3 favourite.
$3 favourite.
$3 favourite, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
There is a chance that he doesn't run because of the bad draw. We're hearing from the stable, but hopefully we're running. The race looks pretty weak. So good luck to those owners if we do go to Lismore tomorrow.
Have you looked at the race?
I have, at my limited provincial New South Wales or country New South Wales, Queensland.
Surprised you didn't book your jockey that you stopped 2.5 weeks ago.
funny you should say that. I thought he might be on because it's Neesham and that sort of territory. But we've got Damien Thornton on, which is who obviously goes good. So, and then Morphettville Saturday, as you said, potentially 2 runners. Exeter in race 3 and All England in race 7. So we may as well just swing straight to Adelaide and look at those 2 races. Benny, did you want to kick us off there, knowing that form better than most of us?
Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, Exeter obviously heads to race 3 at Morphettville Parks over the 1250 metres. Looks a really nice race for him, I thought. There's 2 horses in this race that are going to be hard to beat, but I think he looks a great chance to run in the money. The 1, Picargo, has been racing really well. I thought gets a 3 kilo claim, should get the map advantage, sit 1-1. The other horse is Jack's on Ice, who has really done nothing wrong. He's won 4 out of his last 5. Very versatile horse. He can sit off the speed or he can take the running up, which I think they will do. I think they will lead on this horse, Jack's on Ice, unless one of Johnny Hickmott's obviously pours the pressure on. But I really think he'll lead. I think we're drawing barrier 1. I think we can just tuck in behind the speed and then we'll have options there. Small field. I think we should be able to come off, coming into the turn and tag Cargo in the 1-1, get out to that 3 wide line rather than hunting for luck up the fence. But we are going to have options. Obviously, Stubby Holders on, riding in probably career best form, really. So I think we tick a lot of boxes here. We'll just be watching the weather and seeing, obviously, what condition the track gets to. But on Exeter's best form and the form out of his last 2 races, he's going to be highly competitive and looks probably the best place he's looked for some while, I think.
Roberto?
I think I saw Jackson Ice win first up on Morphettville. He won the last race. He looked kind of forward that day. So, how many runs he had since then? Like 3 or 4? Maybe he could be coming to the end of it.
You'd hope so. And the other thing in this race is one bloke, they're a training partnership. They've got 4 runners. Surely they don't all run.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Francis Boyle will run.
I was on that last week when it got caught right on the line.
Yeah,
he
does funny things though, Johnny Hickmott. He could run them all.
Well, we live in hope. The only reason we won't run is if we're sort of debating the bomb predictions now. It's like which app you trust, and we don't want to go over there if it's going to be too wet. And the truck leaves this afternoon, so chats to be had, decisions to be made. The next race we're going to look at is race 7, where All England, who probably should have won 2 starts ago on a synthetic at Pakenham, runs around. Stubby again. We've just gone hard with Stubby. Benny, do you approve of that?
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably riding the best jockey there at the moment, I'd say. He's really found some form. Just touching on this race 7, All England, top weight. Looks a nice race for him. I think the only horse that we have to really beat here is the other fellow Victorian in Tazi Calling, but I think its best form will be over the 1400 metres. But in saying that, second up 1250 probably suits. Obviously being by Tarzino will get over a bit of ground. Mick Huglin's horses seem to be ticking over okay at the moment as well. Look, we've got a good barrier in 6. Should just sit midfield, 1 out, 1 back even. Doesn't look to be a heap of speed here. Number 5, Portation. It won last start quite well, but they backed it off the map, and that was on a heavy deck, which I think this horse is a bit of a wetty. I don't think... Look, it's got form on dry ground, but in weaker class. But yeah, they look the 3 main chances to me. Portation, obviously us, All England, and Tazi Calling the horse to beat. But it looks another good race. I think we pulled the right rein here going over to SA to find a couple of nice options for our horses, and they should run really well, both of them.
Provided they're good to soft tracks. Anything else in Adelaide that took your eye?
There was just one in the last, horse by the name of More Sugar. We were on it last start, albeit a midweek grade, but the way this horse won, got back to last, made up about 10 lengths and won arrogantly, drawn wide again, so it's going to have to go back. But I think if they are making ground down the middle of the track later in the day, I think we can have something each way on this horse. More Sugar, the 7. I think it's quite talented horse.
Where to next, John?
We pop to Sydney.
Sydney. Rosehill. Not really Sydney, is it, Rob? But it's Rosehill and it's in New South Wales. Talk me through why do you want to talk about this particular race? Which is the pony that you've been following?
There's about 6 of them in the field that I could talk to you, tell you tales of woe, tales of glory. It's a proper welter. Like there's, they're quite good horses for this time of year. There's the rails out 7 meters. It's going to be, we had unseasonably dry, so they ran a track record yesterday at Warwick Farm for a staying race. But yeah, if it could be hard to make ground, so it's very hard to be sure how the track's going to play in Sydney. But
well, at least if you're listening at home, you can take all this information in. You're going to have 9 races to decide if you can or can't make ground. Or better still, go to the mailbag.com.au, download the app, and bet whatever Rob tells you to bet from the yard.
Well, there's a proper panther here. It's called Colino by Piero. Uncle. It's had
another panther for the uncle. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's had 2 trials leading into this, and this race is over 1,300 meters, which is almost as far as this horse wants to go, I think. So they're putting it at the top of the distance first up. It's drawn barrier 3, which usually means when we had Chris on the show, he said they usually look to be positive from these low gates, and with good horse like much better who goes pretty hard, there should be good tempo on here, and I just feel this could get just a nice run in behind him. It's got a decent turn of speed, and providing it looks forward enough, I think it's a quality horse. If you look through its form, it's there's horses like Bacchanalia and Cannonball, which went out, Royal Ascot, and it's not far off these types. So it's up there in the weights. He's going to carry 60 kilos, so he's not claiming with it. But I think it could go well. There's about 5 or 6 other horses I have time for. There's a horse like Kingshear that I've lost a lot on, which finally dropped off when it started to win. But Polino first up. I think it's a quality horse, and it's 2 wins from 4 first up attempts, and I just really like it.
It's definitely
110k yearling at the Classic. Makes sense. It's a Panther.
Well, Classic is usually
that's big money. The Classic sale.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What you did 1,300 first up. It didn't go over 1,200 last prep. But then the prep before got up to 1,800. So,
Uncle.
I'm not going to question Chris Waller, but
I am
as a fellow White Kiwi.
Yeah, well, I am, and you got it wrong early on, 1,800. I think this horse is definitely 14 and below, but it is, one dickhead to say to Chris, but I think you'd agree now, just like Aidan O'Brien would agree that So You Think wasn't a 3,200 meter horse. Even the greats get it wrong. I actually wrote to Coolmore and told him about that when it got beat. I was furious.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, I know. I did.
What time of night did you? What was the time? Let's do a market right now. I've got like $1.50. It was post 10 p.m. $3.50 post 6 p.m. and write your own ticket before 6 p.m.
Yeah, it was late at night. But then he did come out literally three months later or something, or 6 months later, and literally apologized for training the horse wrong. So I was vindicated. I was correct. If you look for the interview, I didn't write back to him, but I was just like, good on you, Aidan. It's good when people can admit when they're wrong, even if they're one of the greatest of all time. But yeah, he admitted he got So You Think wrong. He thought it was High Chaparral again, and he trained the speed out of it and just thought it would stay, but it didn't. Anyway, it's another story about me. Me.
All right.
Me. Okay, Caulfield. Let's talk Caulfield. rails out 6 meters. I think that's a pretty fair rail position for Caulfield traditionally. Obviously, it's a new track, third go, this new surface, but same circumference. So, so far, it's been a pretty good guide what's happened historically. I think out of the shoot races, boys, slight disadvantage to be worse than midfield, but not completely like poison. Race 1. Benny, any thoughts here? I got a couple.
Yeah, race 1. So obviously a lot of these horses come through like the Blue Diamond, Golden Slipper and all that sort of stuff. So they're obviously highly talented. It wasn't a race that I wanted to bet into, just with a few unknowns. Yeah, they've come back. A few horses have been spinning around of late. And then obviously you got a couple first up like Gangitano, also Wolfie from the Nick Ryan camp, who
Lindsay Bowles gave a complete like rubber stamp to the trials.
Yeah, which we love that from Lindsay. So look, highly competitive race. I thought Sensical has been racing well. Moody going well. Goad on. How good's Ollie riding? Cause for concern. Just outstanding.
Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, he's just in rare air at the moment again. Again. But like these non-betting narrative makers try and write him off all the time and say he should retire, and then out he comes, little freshen up. 2 weeks playing golf in America, comes back and just killing them.
Yeah, just super. So there's a bit of a spook around for that Orion the Hunter, Nichols horse. It's big odds, been backed in markets. Thought it was good last start, knuckling down, pulling away late. I know they've had a big opinion of this horse.
It was $9 to 19 though, Benny, when it won. That's what's turned me off the horse. So they spat it out when it won. That was at Moe, I think. Big step up. I don't know. Yeah,
for sure. Look, like I said, I'm not going to have a bet in the race. I'm just sort of trying to draw a line through these runners. But yeah, I think Amigo's got nice talent also. Just run off its feet first up. I think it wants more ground though. So yeah, look, it's not a race I want to play in. Looks very even, a lot of unknowns. But love to hear your thoughts, Jack.
I really like Amigo as a horse and as a setup. So it's a big jockey switch, not suited last start, just ignore it. Third best last 100 meters of the day, gets blinkers first time, nose roll off. PG's doing that a lot on Saturday. Blinkers on, nose roll off. What does that mean? Is that Kathy? Is Kathy getting into her work at Peters?
I hope it's not panic stations down there, but
could be one or two things, and that's what I'm happy to find out at sort of $10-$12.
As I said, I think it's a really nice horse also.
I think the inside draw potentially suits this horse. Concerned with Matt, but it is a jockey switch and a blinkers on, so you're not ridiculously thinking you might see some intent. But again, if it settles last offence, well, it told you it was going to do that by what it's done so far in its racing career. I liked Sensical and Amigo as the two sort of potential players in the race. But then grade right up when Lindsay's come through and said that Wolfie's gone as good as they go. So I don't know if I'd bet, but certainly Amigo each way, if you want to bet, would be the way I'd play race 1. Race 2, boys, not interested at all. Anyone?
No.
Rob, nothing. Good. Race 3, nothing for me. Rob, Benny, no bets. Race 4, again, I'm not interested at this early stage. I'll go through these races properly tonight on the Zoom with the subs with Linz, but I thought they were pretty tricky races that we need to dive into deeply. Not a show race, if you know what I'm saying. Race 5, this is a good race. This is a really good race. It's a benchmark 70, fillies and mares on a Saturday, worth only 80 grand. So there's midweek form just flowing straight into this race because it's a midweek race. So sometimes when you're younger, I think you can get stuck in a mindset of like, well, that's not a Saturday horse. Well, these don't need to be Saturday horses to win these sort of races. Big field, big maps. We were on Bow Bay, Biora Bay last start, sick beat to Jesus Bedgegood. Lavina jumped out of the ground and knocked us off. I've been half with Cuban Link its last 3, and it's copped some of Ben Mellon's worst ever rides because he's a good, very, very good rider. Just had no luck, like no early speed, but needed to get going. Been 3 wide cast both, maybe last 2-3 times. And in comes my son. Apologies if this gets loud. I thought Movada created a big hole within this race. Bro, I'm doing a show. So if you could keep it. Morvada, Benny, completely blessed. PR last start, heavy track only. The sun's out in Melbourne. Could be on a good track. If they run, it's got to start $10.
Yeah, never been one of mine, this horse. I was very surprised that it got the job done last start. I actually laid the horse, so that's how good I was going that day. But yeah, I think ticks that box. Obviously, I think it is a wetty, this horse. It was a strong win though. Let's be honest. It was, it worked, pulled away, and was strong on the line. I just think in this sort of grade, I'm going to have something on Cuban Link. As you said, been unsuited last couple, gets Billy Egan on. Yes, has got the 60, but I mean,
relative weight swings versus like key rolls here. There's nothing in it, and SPs hold it up versus some of these. Same with Bower Bay, but Matilda's got an SP that's very tight to these horses. Drawn awkwardly though, Benny. The other two that
I don't think it's been going any good.
Yeah, I agree, and I thought had the opportunity to back. Impending Diamond, and She's Pretty Rich. She's Pretty Rich. You can tie in a number of ways through decent SPs and decent races. It's just the barrier 16. Where's it going to get to and run? Impending Diamond and She's Pretty Rich, the two run-ons for me. Bow Bay, but particularly Cuban Link. So it sounds like we're aligned, John. We're both with Cuban Link. And you can go each way. It's a big price. What is it, $8?
Yeah, I think they're the two, Jack. 1 and 2. Mare's in form. Bow Bay's done nothing wrong. As you said, got Blouse late last start. I think if Lavina was any sort of, when it's hard up on the fence and one just swamps and gets up on the, I think it would have dug in that horse if that horse was, say, got to the outside of it sort of thing. So I think they're definitely the two. I thought She's Pretty Rich. It's had plenty of chances, albeit in probably stronger races. But as you said, drawn 16, it's going to have to run a clear PB, I think, to pick him up from last.
Race 6, Kin runs around, Rob. You've seen this horse a stack of times. It's been at Gosford, it's run at Randwick, you've been in Newcastle, it's been at Canterbury. What's your opinion on Kin? And then, Benny, how many units are you having on it, Rob?
And you're on mute, Rob.
Sorry about that, boys. I saw it when it got beat by Owner Merck. I think it was started pretty short in the market that day. And it looked like I like to see these
$2.45 that day.
Yeah, and look, the horses that were in front of it are they're quality Saturday horses in Sydney. But yeah, I thought it looked pretty perfect that day, and I can see it's had 3 runs. I prefer this stable fresh, on the fresher side. So I'd be thinking if you guys like something in the race, I might double stake it, because I think. Yeah, I just prefer these. It's also got Barry at 12. What's she going to do from there?
Benny's half fucked here, because the other thing it's God's cause for concern for. They started 420 versus cause for concern. So what do you think Ben's doing here? How many units are you having on?
Best of the day.
It's too easy.
You make a really good point there, Rob. I think you're spot on with that. The camp's very good fresh. But the way this horse won last start, won like a really nice horse. Obviously the cause for concern form's stacked up. I thought Coattail, it's the danger, but I think it's just been poking away. I thought it was good second up.
Yeah, but the great with it is tongue tie first time. So chance at choke down and you don't know. And Linda Meach on. So, all of a sudden it's coffin or leader and you're out the back. That's what scares me about this setup. The barrier and the map, this distance Caulfield, amazing win last start, but geez, you're not getting any opportunity to back it here, in my opinion, at the price. Yeah.
When I say it is the best of the day, but it's not a 5-unit play. It's probably, I'm confident, but I'm not declaring it, because something's gonna have to go its way at some point in the race. Like if Coattail's out in front getting a picnic, it won't run it down. But if there's a bit of pressure there, it can sort of chime in on the bend. I think it'll show that nice turn of foot and get over the top of them and win like a nice horse. So I think it is. But as I said, it's not a complete moral, I don't think. It needs a bit to go its way, but I think it's a nice horse, and I'm happy to bet.
Speaking of complete nutters, race 7, number 6, Varvia. Oh my God. Like, this is as simple as they ever get. Drawn grouse, Blake Shin, he's incredibly likely to roll forward. This is very much like that Time Quest setup. He's a positive rider from good draws, and people won't be convinced this horse will settle forward. I bet you it settles midfield or better, and I'm really, really confident it wins. Brereton trialled nicely. Angry Skies has a proper 3-year-old form. Desire has an SP you can tie through Varvia, which gives it some credibility here, but I'm not overthinking this. I'm just going to bet. I have bet, and I'll probably bet again if I get a bigger price. Varvia, the easiest bet of all time at Caulfield on Saturday for me. Thoughts, anyone?
Yeah, I'm going to have something on Desire each way. I know Varvia spanked it last start, but I don't think it was Billy Pin's best ride. He sort of fired her up, was squeezing in between runners, got chopped in half on the turn. Yes, it was by Varvia, and Varvia was going better, but it sort of got sliced. She picked herself back up and still hit the line. I think we're getting a big price. I'm happy to back her each way. Even 1 by 3, I think Varvia is very hard to beat, but I'm happy to be on Desire each way. I think she's a really nice filly. I actually held a ticket on her to win the 1,000 guineas at 300s, and she didn't get in the field.
I definitely think you're just off the SPs. That's a sound opinion. Rob, what do you think of Varvia as a type and as a horse?
Yeah, it looks like a Saturday horse to me. It's sort of opposite to what I just said about Godolphin. This one seems to have started sort of slowly in its prep. It was a little bit disappointing. I remember seeing it at Rosehill, winning versus spanked it, but it seems to be improving through the prep. So, yeah, trekking in the right direction, spiraling upwards, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be hard to beat tomorrow.
The last race, let's look at the race 8, the Bletchingley. It's a Group 3. It's weight for age. It's 1,200 meters. Good luck to you. It would be my initial thoughts here.
Didn't like the race.
This is grim viewing. I mean, we've got straight track horses like It's Our Time. It's airborne, but got knocked off by Monomeath, who goes around here again. Off its SPs, it's unders. Monomeath, It's Our Time, back around a bend. Grey Up, Nicoloni Vito, Express, tipped by everyone off its trial. Plain first up, back around a bend. Does it improve? I think if you have to bet, which you never do, gamble responsibly. General Bow be the safest way to play this race each way. But you don't have to bet. If you want to bet this, you're sick.
What did our man Lindsay have to say about Windstorm? Any push? First up off the trials, because the horse is quite talented.
Nice trials.
Yeah. Okay. See, that's another grey up for me. Like
that's what I mean. And then even like Tycoonist, Benny, that's surely can't win, but it's Uncle Chris, and it's got form around Private Eye. If you want to go back far enough, like.
Even Nick Ryan regards Marie's.
Oh, exactly. If that jumped out, if they back that and it jumped out of the ground, you wouldn't like completely. All that's going to happen if betting this race, you have to book in some time with your therapist on Monday.
Well, what if you think that the bit of the nonny, the toppy, looks like a weight for age horse, ingratiating. It's fresh in its prep. It's got the premier jockey on it. Could jump out of the ground and win. I remember seeing it in the Everest
100%.
field.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
it loves Caulfield. This horse. It's had 8 starts here for 2 wins and 3 seconds. I don't know if it loves the distance. 7 starts, 1 second, and 3 thirds.
But it went round the Everest.
Yeah, that's what I'm
pretty
saying.
sure it did. Yeah.
It was quite. I thought it was plain first up when it had the chance to dash through, but it sort of was in traffic as well. But
I think that's a big debate. So yeah, the way I view that is at the 400. If you were on it, you were very fucking happy.
Yeah,
and it didn't let down like it should have.
No, yeah.
But yeah, good luck to you if you're betting in the Bletchingley. Let us know in the comments. Well, get on Twitter. Maybe if you can tip me the winner of the Bletchingley and get its SP to within $1, I'll buy a bit of Mailbag Bloodstock merch. Have we got any horses available, John? I don't think we do.
Cause for concern would have won this race.
Oh, well, if you were... Why didn't they run here?
You love that as much as I love think about it. Jeepers creepers.
Well, they might
Jojo.
I don't know if he's a think about it, but I think he'll win a Group 1. There you go.
Group 1?
Yeah.
Turn it up. No, I don't know.
I'm telling you.
John, what else should we do?
Probably about it. Zoom's only given us 3 more minutes, so did you want to race
what
9?
about some white Kiwi stuff?
Leave that. Go on.
Yeah, well, the New Zealand racing website was down for maintenance, so I couldn't actually do any form. So,
imagine that meeting. Hey guys, when should we turn the website off for the maintenance?
Middle of the day, 2 days.
Let's do it after fields come out before a Saturday. That'll be a good time to do it.
It's pretty good.
I've got one for you, Jono.
Yep.
St. Lawrence will win the last at Caulfield.
There we go.
It's hard to knock.
That's a Kiwi breed, isn't it? That'll do for the Kiwi.
Yep. Carleen didn't let us down last week. I think it just looks a good race for this horse. A lot of the other horses have just been poking around, like gets in okay at the weights, I think, with the claim. I think it's a pretty nice horse.
Some astute owners in it, bought it from New Zealand.
Doing a great job, doing a phenomenal job. I reckon that's about all we've got time for this morning, today. God bless you all for coming and hanging out and previewing. We've done 3 different tracks today. No Kiwi stuff. Make sure you follow Mailbag Bloodstock because Jono will tip something on there. He should, like he owes it to us. That's what you bring to this team.
Well, as Benny said earlier before we started recording, my each way wouldn't miss a place last week ran 4th after getting one of the best jockeys in New Zealand off due to illness after race 2 and one of the worst on. So and now I can't watch a replay or a trial.
You reckon the like racing gods like Bilbo Baggins and Ablett Senior, Liam and Noel, they're sort of telling you, hey, maybe stop looking at it?
Yeah, well, Vanderhoven rode a winner during the week, so he's back.
He's back, and we'll be back next week. Have a phenomenal weekend wherever you're betting or whatever you're doing. Enjoy the Open, enjoy the Ashes. Geez, we made some starts last night and just couldn't go on with it, Rob. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. Anyway, bye for now.
Cheers, boys. See ya.
Pleasure. Thanks, boys.
Cheers, gents.